Hey everyone, welcome back to SwitchTop. Today we're diving into the top 20 turn-based RPGs on Nintendo Switch. If you love strategic combat, deep stories, and games that let you think through every move, this list is for you. Let's jump right in. Pokémon Legends Arceus completely reinvents the Pokémon formula by dropping you into the ancient Hisui region, where you're tasked with creating the first ever Pokédex. The story follows your character as they work with the Galaxy team to catalog Pokémon in a time when humans and Pokémon relationships are still being figured out. And there's a mysterious force causing certain Pokémon to go berserk. The turn-based combat gets a major upgrade with the strong style and agile style system. You can choose to make moves hit harder but go slower, or deal less damage but attack more frequently, which adds actual strategy to each battle. Between fights, you're exploring open zones where Pokémon roam freely, and you can catch them by sneaking up and throwing Pokéballs in real time without even entering a battle. The core loop involves completing Pokédex tasks, like catching Pokémon, seeing them use specific moves, or defeating them a certain number of times, which unlocks star ranks that let you control higher-level Pokémon. It runs smoothly in both handheld and docked mode, though the graphics are pretty basic compared to other Switch RPGs.
Triangle strategy throws you into a war-torn continent where three nations are fighting over control of salt and iron resources. And you play as Serenoa Wolfort, a young noble trying to navigate political intrigue while protecting his people. The story is heavily choice-driven, with major decisions determined by convincing your party members to vote your way through a scales of conviction system. And your choices genuinely lead to completely different story paths and endings. Combat takes place on grid-based battlefields, with elevation playing a huge role. Higher ground gives you advantages, and you can use elemental attacks to create combos, like freezing water or setting oil on fire. Each of your units has a unique class and abilities, and positioning matters a ton, since flanking enemies from behind or the side deals massive bonus damage. Between battles, you'll explore the world through visual novel-style scenes, where you gather information and make dialogue choices that affect your conviction levels in utility, morality, and liberty, which unlock new characters and story branches. The pixel art character portraits are gorgeous, and the tactical depth rivals games like Final Fantasy Tactics, making every battle feel like a puzzle you need to solve. Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance is the definitive version of SMT5, adding a completely new story route alongside the original, and it drops you into a post-apocalyptic Tokyo that's been fused with the demon realm. You play as a high school student who gets attacked by demons and fuses with a mysterious being to become the Nahobino, a powerful half-human, half-demon entity, and you're caught between angels and demons fighting for control of creation itself. The press-turn battle system is incredibly strategic. If you hit an enemy's weakness or land a critical hit, you get an extra turn. But if you miss or hit a resistance, you lose turns, so every decision matters. You'll constantly be recruiting demons through negotiation, which involves answering their questions and giving them items or money to join your party. Then you can fuse two demons together to create stronger ones and pass down skills. The Vengeance route adds new characters and a darker storyline that explores different themes than the base game, plus quality of life improvements like being able to save anywhere. Exploration happens in a massive open desert environment filled with secrets, optional bosses, and demon challenges. And the boss fights are legitimately tough and will punish you for not preparing properly. Super Mario RPG is a full remake of the SNES classic that modernized everything while keeping the original's charm. And it follows Mario teaming up with unlikely allies, including Bowser and Mallow, to stop the Smithy Gang from taking over the world. The story has Mario collecting star pieces to repair the Star Road after Smithy's giant sword crashes into Bowser's castle. And you'll travel through unique locations, solving the problems of various kingdoms. Combat uses timed hits, where pressing the button right as you connect with an attack or get hit by an enemy either increases your damage or reduces damage taken, which keeps every battle engaging, even against weak enemies. You've got action commands for every character's special moves, like Geno's timed laser beam or Bowser's meteor strike.
and learning the timing for each attack and defense adds a skill-based element missing from most turn-based RPGs. The overworld has platforming sections and hidden secrets that feel like traditional Mario games, and there are tons of mini-games scattered throughout. Unicorn Overlord is a massive tactical RPG from Vanillaware that combines real-time strategy with turn-based party battles, set in a fantasy world where you play as a prince trying to reclaim 5 kingdoms from an empire that conquered them. The story follows your journey building an army of liberation, recruiting diverse characters from different races and backgrounds who each have their own reasons for joining your cause. Combat is unique. You move units around a large battlefield in real time, like a strategy game, but when your units clash with enemies, it triggers an automated battle where your party members attack based on the tactics you've set up beforehand using a priority system. You can customize each unit's formation, equipment, and battle tactics, deciding when they should use skills, who they should target, and how they should respond to different situations. Between missions, you'll liberate towns, build up your base with various facilities that provide bonuses, and recruit new characters by completing side quests. The game has over 60 playable characters, and the relationship system lets you promote units together and even arrange marriages that lead to new story scenes. The hand-drawn art style is absolutely stunning, with detailed character portraits and beautifully animated sprites. And there's easily 80+ hours of content.
We strive together! I trust you!
Go. Strike them!
Give them nothing!
The Lunar Remastered collection brings 2 classic JRPGs to modern platforms, Lunar Silver Star Story and Lunar Eternal Blue, both fully remastered with updated graphics, reorchestrated music, and quality of life improvements. Silver Star Story follows Alex, a young adventurer who idolizes Dragon Master Dine and dreams of becoming a hero himself. And his journey takes him across the world of Lunar to stop the Magic Emperor from resurrecting an ancient evil. The combat is turn-based, but uses a range system where melee characters need to be close to enemies to attack, while magic users can hit from anywhere. And positioning your party correctly makes a real difference. Between battles, you're exploring dungeons, towns, and the overworld while building relationships with your party members through animated cutscenes that were revolutionary for their time. Eternal Blue is the sequel that follows Lucia, a mysterious girl from the Blue Star who comes to Lunar searching for the Chosen One who can save both worlds from Zophar. And the combat system is refined with more strategic depth. Both games feature full voice acting in major scenes, touching storylines about love and sacrifice, and memorable characters that you genuinely care about. The remasters add autosaves, difficulty options, and a fast-forward function that makes random encounters less tedious, plus all the bonus content from previous versions.
La 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 la.
Fire Emblem Three Houses puts you in the role of a mercenary who becomes a professor at the Garreg Mach Monastery, where you choose to lead one of 3 houses, the Black Eagles, Blue Lions, or Golden Deer, each with their own students and storyline. The game is split between school life, where you teach students, build relationships, and explore the monastery, and tactical battles, where you command your units on grid-based maps with permadeath for fallen allies. The story starts with small conflicts between nations, but eventually reveals a massive conspiracy involving the church, ancient history, and the nature of the crest system that defines nobility in this world. Combat follows classic Fire Emblem rules, with weapon triangle advantages, terrain effects, and the need to protect weaker units while positioning tanks and damage dealers strategically. You can develop each student however you want, by choosing which weapon skills and magic they learn, and you can even recruit students from other houses if you build relationships with them. The calendar system gives you limited activities each month, so you need to decide between exploring to find items and side quests, lecturing to boost student skills, or resting to improve motivation.
Did you underestimate me?
Try harder.
You never had a chance.
I can.
Octopath Traveler features 8 different protagonists, each with their own independent storyline. And you can start with any character and recruit the others in whatever order you choose. The stories range from Primrose seeking revenge for her father's murder, to Cyrus investigating a conspiracy at his academy. And while the individual tales don't interconnect much, each one explores different themes and takes you to unique locations. The combat system uses a boost point mechanic, where you accumulate points each turn and can spend them to either deal multiple hits or power up your abilities. And the break system lets you exploit enemy weaknesses to shatter their defense and leave them vulnerable. Each character has a unique path action they can use in towns. Ulberic can duel NPCs, Tressa can purchase items from anyone, Alphen can concoct custom potions. And these abilities open up different ways to solve quests and find secrets. The job system lets you give characters secondary classes, mixing abilities to create powerful combinations, like a dancer who can also cast black magic, or a merchant with warrior skills. The HD 2D graphics style blends retro pixel art with modern lighting effects and depth of field, creating a gorgeous aesthetic that makes every environment pop.
Let my arrow fly and true. Thou didst.
Trails to Azure concludes the Crossbell duology and serves as one of the most critically acclaimed entries in the entire Trails series, following Lloyd Bannings and the special support section as they try to protect Crossbell City from being crushed between 2 superpowers. The story picks up right after Trails from Zero, with political tensions reaching a breaking point, and you'll witness how a small city-state tries to maintain independence while dealing with corrupt politicians, underground crime syndicates, and the looming threat of war. Combat uses the AT bar system, where turn order is visible, and you can manipulate it with abilities. And positioning on the battlefield matters since area of effect attacks hit multiple characters, and you need to spread out or cluster together strategically. The orbment system lets you customize each character's magic by slotting different quartz that provide stat boosts and unlock spells, and higher tier quartz combinations unlock powerful master quartz abilities. What really shines is the detective work between battles. You'll take on cases around the city, investigate crime scenes, interview witnesses, and piece together conspiracies. Trails in the Sky First Chapter is where the entire Trails series begins, and it sets the foundation for one of gaming's most ambitious, interconnected storylines, spanning multiple countries and decades. You play as Estelle Bright, the daughter of a legendary bracer, essentially a freelance problem solver who helps people. And alongside her adopted brother Joshua, she sets out to become a full-fledged bracer herself, while uncovering a conspiracy threatening the kingdom of Liberl. The story takes its time building the world, introducing you to the orbment technology that powers everything from lights to military airships, the political structure of different regions, and the various guilds and organizations that shape society. Turn-based combat uses the same AT bar and orbment systems that the series is known for, where positioning, turn manipulation, and elemental strategies are key to victory, especially against bosses that can devastate your party if you're not prepared. Between major story beats, you're taking on bracer jobs that range from finding lost items to escorting NPCs and investigating strange occurrences, and these side quests flesh out the world in incredible detail.
My turn.
Live Alive is a completely reimagined version of a 1994 Super Famicom game that never left Japan until now, and it's structured unlike any other RPG out there. The game is split into 7 different chapters, set across different time periods: prehistoric times, feudal Japan, the Wild West, present day, near future, distant future, and imperial China, each with its own protagonist, gameplay style, and self-contained story. You can tackle these chapters in any order you want, and each one plays differently from the others. Like, the Ninja chapter focuses on stealth gameplay, while the Wild West chapter has you setting traps to defend a town.
The combat system uses a grid-based battlefield, where positioning matters a ton, since every attack has a specific range and area of effect, so you need to constantly think about where to move and when to strike. Each chapter is only a few hours long, which keeps the pacing tight and prevents any scenario from overstaying its welcome. And once you complete all 7 chapters, they converge into a final storyline that connects everything together. The HD 2D visual style looks gorgeous, with detailed pixel art characters on 3D environments, and each time period has its own distinct art direction and music.
Dragon Quest III HD 2D Remake brings one of the most beloved entries in the series to modern platforms, with completely overhauled visuals that blend pixel art with stunning lighting effects. You play as the child of the legendary hero Ortega, who died fighting the demon lord Baramos, and on your 16th birthday, you set out to finish what your father started and save the world. The game uses a class-based party system, where you create your own companions at the start, choosing from classes like warrior, mage, priest, merchant, and more, each with their own abilities and growth patterns. Combat is traditional turn-based, where you input commands for your entire party and then watch the turn play out, with the ability to change classes mid-game through the Dharma Temple, which lets you create hybrid builds. The world exploration is incredibly open for a classic JRPG. You can tackle dungeons in different orders once you get a ship, and there are tons of hidden areas and optional content to discover.
Sea of Stars is a love letter to classic 90s RPGs, especially Chrono Trigger, created by the team behind The Messenger, and it follows 2 children of the solstice who are trained to become solstice warriors heroes, who can use sun and moon magic to fight back against an alchemist creating monsters. The story takes you across a beautifully crafted world, filled with memorable characters, ancient ruins, and the mystery behind the Dweller threat that's consuming the land. Combat uses timed hits for both attacks and defense, like Super Mario RPG, where pressing the button at the right moment increases damage or reduces incoming hits, keeping you engaged in every battle, even against weak enemies. The lock system is brilliant. Enemies charge up powerful attacks that show how many locks they have, and you can break these locks by hitting them with specific damage types before their turn, which either cancels or weakens the attack. You can swap party members mid-battle at any time without using a turn, letting you adapt to different enemy patterns and vulnerabilities on the fly. There are no random encounters, since enemies are visible on the map, and you can avoid them if you want. And the game rewards exploration with combo moves that your party learns by finding special items. The Suikoden 1 and 2 HD Remaster Collection brings back 2 legendary PS1 RPGs that focus on political intrigue, war, and recruiting 108 characters to build an army. The first game follows the son of a famous general who gets caught up in a corrupt empire's dealings and ends up leading a liberation army, while Suikoden 2 is about childhood friends torn apart by war when they end up on opposing sides of a conflict. Both games use a traditional turn-based system where you build 6-person parties from your massive roster of recruitable characters, each with unique abilities and weapon types that level up through use. The 108 Stars of Destiny system is the core hook. You'll recruit these characters by completing side quests, winning them in battles, or just finding them hidden throughout the world. And many of them unlock new features for your headquarters, like shops, blacksmiths, or minigames. Beyond standard battles, there are large-scale war battles that play out as strategic rock-paper-scissors encounters, and one-on-one duels that require reading your opponent's moves. Your choices throughout both games actually matter, affecting which characters you can recruit and which endings you get. And Suikoden 2 has one of the most emotionally gut-wrenching stories in RPG history. Dragon Quest XI's is the definitive version of one of the best traditional JRPGs ever made. Following the Luminary, a young man marked with a special sign who's prophesied to save the world, but gets branded as a darkspawn and hunted by the kingdom. The story takes you across the world of Erdrea as you gather a party of memorable companions, each dealing with their own personal struggles while working together to stop an ancient evil. The turn-based combat lets you move characters around the battlefield freely, even though positioning doesn't affect damage, and you can switch between party members mid-battle to adapt to different enemy types. Each character has a skill panel where you spend points to unlock new abilities, stat boosts, and passive skills, with multiple paths per character that let you specialize them how you want. The game has two major story arcs, and without spoiling anything, what happens at the midpoint completely changes the tone and stakes of your adventure. You can switch between 3D and retro 2D graphics modes at any time, with the 2D mode playing like classic Dragon Quest games with random encounters and a top-down perspective.
Go on! You can do it! Get him!
Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door is a full remake of the GameCube classic that perfected the series' formula with its perfect blend of platforming exploration, turn-based combat, and genuinely funny writing. Mario arrives in Rogueport, searching for Princess Peach, who's been kidnapped, while investigating the legendary treasure behind the Thousand-Year Door. And you'll travel to different worlds, collecting crystal stars while dealing with the X-Nauts organization. The combat system uses timed button presses for every action. You can increase attack damage by timing hits correctly, reduce incoming damage by blocking at the right moment, and each attack has different timing requirements that keep battles engaging. Your partner characters are incredibly useful, with unique abilities both in combat and exploration. Like Koops can hit switches across gaps, and Vivian can hide you in shadows to avoid enemies or reveal secrets. The badge system lets you customize Mario's abilities by equipping badges that cost badge points, so you can build Mario as a defensive tank, a high-risk, high-reward attacker, or balance different abilities. Between chapters, you play as Peach in short segments, where she explores the X-Naut base and gathers information, adding context to the main story. Octopath Traveler 2 improves on the original in every way, with 8 new protagonists whose stories are more interconnected and take place in 2 continents split between East and West regions. Each character still has their own independent journey, Throne trying to escape her assassin upbringing, Oswald seeking revenge while imprisoned, Casti recovering her lost memories, but this time their paths cross more naturally, and there are side stories that explore relationships between specific characters. The combat system returns with the boost point and break mechanics, but adds latent powers, unique abilities for each character that charge up during battle and can turn the tide when used at the right moment, like Hikari entering a trance state that powers up all his learned skills. Day and night cycles actually matter now, since each character has different path actions depending on the time. Throne can steal at night, but only bribe during the day, which opens up different solutions to problems. The job system lets you mix primary and secondary jobs to create powerful combinations, and you can now have 2 secondary jobs equipped at later points in the game. Cross Paths are new side quests that pair up 2 travelers and show how their abilities complement each other. Plus, there's an in-game final chapter that brings all 8 together for a proper conclusion.
Now it begins. Here I come.
Final Fantasy Tactics: The Ivalice Chronicles doesn't exist as a single release on Switch. But if you meant Final Fantasy Tactics and related Ivalice games, I'll cover the tactical RPG experience they represent. Final Fantasy Tactics follows Ramza Bulv, a noble caught in a massive political conspiracy during a war of succession, and the story is incredibly dark and mature, with themes of class warfare, religious corruption, and betrayal. The combat takes place on grid-based 3D battlefields, where height differences matter significantly. Higher ground gives you better accuracy and damage, and you need to consider facing direction, since back attacks deal more damage.
The job system is incredibly deep, with over 20 jobs to unlock, each with their own abilities that can be mixed and matched once mastered, letting you create insanely powerful combinations, like a ninja with white magic or a monk with time mage abilities. Battles can be brutally difficult, with permadeath for units who aren't revived within a turn counter, and enemy AI is surprisingly smart about targeting your weak points. Character progression happens through JP earned in battle, which you spend to learn abilities, and moving up job tiers requires mastering prerequisite jobs.
Persona 5 Royal is the ultimate version of Atlus's stylish JRPG that combines dungeon crawling with life simulation, following a high school student who gains the power to enter cognitive palaces, distorted mental worlds created by corrupt adults. You and your group of phantom thieves steal the hearts of these targets to make them confess their crimes, tackling everything from abusive teachers to corrupt politicians while dealing with normal teenage life. The turn-based combat is all about exploiting weaknesses. Hitting an enemy's weak point knocks them down and gives you another turn, and knocking down all enemies lets you perform an all-out attack for massive damage, or negotiate for items and money. The Persona system lets you collect and fuse hundreds of demons, each with different skills and resistances, and you can create incredibly powerful builds through strategic fusion chains. Time management is crucial since you have limited days to complete each palace, while also building social relationships, studying, working part-time jobs, and improving your stats like knowledge and charm. The Confidant system is brilliant. Every social link you build gives gameplay benefits like new fusion options, party member abilities, or shop discounts, while also developing genuinely engaging character stories.
It's been a while since we last, but this time...
Persona! Go down!
Dragon Quest I and II HD 2D Remake brings two foundational turn-based adventures into a modern format, while preserving the charm that defined the originals. The first game focuses on a lone hero exploring Alefgard, now enhanced with multi-enemy encounters, cleaner menus, and streamlined navigation that makes classic grinding feel smoother without losing its old-school pulse. The second game expands into a full party system, giving each character distinct roles and spell types that encourage thoughtful planning, especially during tougher encounters. New sigils add passive bonuses that deepen customization, while added dungeons, cutscenes, and secrets broaden both stories with more context and optional challenges. Exploration benefits from clearer map guidance and subtle quality-of-life touches that reduce backtracking while keeping discovery satisfying. The HD 2D presentation elevates every region with layered lighting, expressive sprites, and a sense of depth that enriches both combat and world-building. Together, these remakes deliver a faithful yet refreshed take on early JRPG design, blending strategic combat, expanded world detail, and classic hero-driven storytelling into one cohesive experience that stands out as one of the strongest turn-based offerings on Nintendo Switch.
And that's the top 20 turn-based RPGs on Nintendo Switch. Whether you want classic adventures reimagined or modern takes on traditional gameplay, the Switch has an incredible library of turn-based RPGs to dig into. Let me know in the comments which game is your favorite, or if there's a turn-based RPG I missed that deserves recognition. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button and subscribe to SwitchTop for more Nintendo Switch content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.